Hi everyone, welcome to Rishi Tarot. Thank you for tuning in. Today we will be asking Rishi about our strengths, about what makes us skillful and talented, and what are the positive attributes inherent in our personality makeup that will help us achieve our goals, be more successful at work, and better relate to other people. So we have 5 piles today. Here we have pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, pile 4, and pile 5. You may take a moment or pause the video to pick your pile. And once you have selected your pile, please go to the timestamp in the description box down below to identify the timestamp associated with your pile, and then fast forward the video to your allocated time slot for your reading. This is a general reading, so it may not resonate on all levels. Keep an open mind and only take what your intuition validates. Okay, let's begin. Hi, my pile 1. Welcome to your reading. Today we will be asking about your positive attributes and your strengths that will help you in your career. So, my pile 1, I see you as being a little unconventional. All right? You have this ability to look at things from a radically different perspective. It's as if there is a conventional way of thinking, and you're one of those people who is at the front line of, looking at it in a very different way. I also see that you're someone who finds beauty in all things, we can always choose to look at the ugly things in life or the beautiful things. I'm going to have to quote Dolores from Westworld on this, because I feel like pile 1, you're someone who sees the beauty in life. There's ugliness and then disarray, but your unconventional way and of looking at things allows you to see things in a bigger perspective. All right, pile 1, you are definitely someone who looks at the big picture. And when we start looking at the big picture and we, remove ourselves from that very narrow focus of what is so-called general opinion, we start looking at life very differently. And for my pile 1, I see that you are also perhaps a little introverted, like you like to spend alone time. And, but it's not just about being alone. It's as if you thrive in your aloneness, which is a really amazing ability to be able to soothe yourself, to be able to be there for yourself, to be able to just enjoy that solitude. Okay, pile 1. You also have the meditation card here, which I will get to later. But I see that pile 1, you are naturally very spiritual. I also see that you are a romantic at heart. Means you have the Princess of Hearts here, so that's pretty obvious. I also see that because you see this beauty, because you choose to see this beauty in the world, it creates a level of idealism, and that's really beautiful because, in our day-to-day lives, we tend to get very much caught up in the mundane. And with my pile 1, you inspire people to look beyond the ordinary. You find the beauty in arts, in all things creative, in nature. So you're natural, you love life. I think if there is one word to sum up your inherent qualities, the really good strengths you have, I would say that you're a lover of life. Okay, that is your predisposition, Pawan. Like it may, obviously go in ebbs and waves. We have periods where we're happier, periods where we're not happy. But there is a very general undercurrent of loving life. All right, my Pawan, this is really beautiful. Okay, one more thing. I also see that you dare to be yourself. You dare to be unconventional, and you dare to be yourself. If for my part one, if you feel like you are not at that stage where you dare to be yourself, I would say, perhaps there are certain blockages because today we are looking at what is your inherent strength, right? So it's like, are you most predisposed to? And I see, Pawan, that you really dare to be yourself. You dare to be authentic. You dare to voice out, even if it goes against the grain. Okay, this is very beautiful. So, all right, let's examine what your strengths are with respect to your job, your career, and how you actually bring that on in the material world. Okay, so we were talking about your inherent predisposition earlier. Now we will move on to more worldly strengths. So, Pal 1, I see that you're a problem solver. Okay, uh, you you may be faced with a bunch of obstacles at work, where there are like this limitation, that problem, and you're someone who finds a solution to things. Okay, you don't give up so easily. You'll try to find a way to work around it. You're a solution oriented person. And I feel like your job or people you work with, they appreciate that in you, right? So you have this naturally engineering mind where it's always like trying to solve problems, yeah? And this is very helpful, okay? So we also have the Prince of Hearts here. We have two hearts. So that is someone who really lives from their ideals. All right, their inner truth resonates very loudly. That's how I feel for Pal 1. So this Prince of Hearts here tells us that you're someone who really pursues your ideal. Like you wouldn't be motivated if it's a truth that vibrates really deeply in your being. And you're not someone who just, gets through with the drudgery of a job. You're someone who needs to find that purpose, and then you're just 100%. You're just going after it. So as soon as you're convinced of the intention and purpose behind a scope of project or any job that you're doing, you're full on. Okay, you're someone. I see that you're someone who needs to follow your calling, and if you haven't found your calling, it may interfere with your enthusiasm. But once you get that right, it's as if you're on some kind of natural source energy where you just keep going. So this is very beautiful. You have to be in alignment with your purpose, and you're an ideal fighter. And Pal 1, you are this is really beautiful. You have the Queen of Pentacles here. I interpret this as you have a Midas touch. You know that story where the king touches everything and it becomes gold? I don't mean it so literally, but I feel like you are an abundance magnet. But your abundance comes about when there's a collective involvement. So it's like, say they put you in a team or you get hired into a company. Now your presence is like some kind of abundance magnet. I feel it. I also see that you may be shy, okay? We got here. For some of my pal ones, you may be naturally a little introverted. However, you might find yourself being, it's kind of like the center of attention when you're in a social situation. So you may not be aware of this, but there is a natural attraction and people just kind of gravitate towards you. I think this is very much related to that golden touch I was speaking about because there is a certain gravity, all right, associated with you. And this gravity is like a magnet. So you tend to attract opportunities, okay, Pile 1. When you're in your element, when you're really in alignment and you're feeling okay, feeling good about yourself, you are a magnet for opportunities. You're a magnet for abundance to come. It may not be so literal like in money, like it goes through several layers. Say you go to a party, you meet someone, that someone knows another person, which leads to an opportunity, which then brings in money. So I think for my poem, it's very important that you remain open. I feel like some of my pal ones have a tendency to just really be by themselves because they just enjoy life with in their alone time so much. However, there is a natural magnetic ability for abundance. So this is something really to consider tapping into, you know. Uh, I also see my pal one that you are a survivor, okay? You are someone whom they can put you in the harshest of conditions. And if your heart is willing, you can thrive. So you're a problem solver, right? I mean, look at this beautiful card here. You have this amazing garden, but it's in the middle of an arid desert, right? There's no life except for this garden, and it looks like a lake. I don't know if you can see it. All right. So for my pile 1, you are a survivor. You thrive in the worst of conditions, and you thrive. You're like someone. Okay, I'm thinking you're like the kind of person where when there's chaos, like you do well. It's almost like, okay, say there is some kind of financial crisis, all right. That was the case about 12 years ago in 2008, and it might have hit you initially, but somehow you found a way to thrive. Like you found an outlet, and I see you being a survivor of chaos. So this is a really beautiful attribute, okay? This is what leaders are made of. And of course, finally, and last but not least, we have the wisdom card here. So I think part of the reason you're such an abundance magnet, and then you're an ideal fighter, and you've got the problem solver here, is that you have a lot of wisdom inside of you. A lot of what is inherently your strengths have spilled over to how you're being perceived at work. And a lot of people probably see you as their go-to person whenever they have some kind of issues, all right? It might be material issues like, oh, I don't know what's going on with this workplace or, my job, etc. But you're also someone that people come to when they have an existential problem, right? Because you're a lover of life and you're very connected to the wisdom that is available to us when we look very deep within. Of course, you have the meditation card here and your self-reflection time. And so I feel like my power 1, you have a very pure heart, and your ideals are are something that you have to hone in on. And if you haven't found your abundance, please be assured that you have that ability, that Midas touch, that golden touch. So you need to have faith in yourself and acknowledge your strength. Try to think back about when you were in certain job or employed positions, or say working on a project, on a business, and notice how things actually, start speeding up and become smoother when you join a team. All right, because that's what you are. The gravity of abundance. Okay, my pal one, my lover of life, that is all I have for you today. I hope this has brought some clarity to your strengths and your positive attributes that you can contemplate on and honor yourself for. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and if you do, please give it a like and subscribe. Thank you. Hi, my Pal 2. Welcome to your reading. So, Pal 2, you're a natural born leader. You have a lot of initiation power that is very innate in your being. I see that you're very creative, very passionate, and you bring a lot of inspiration to the people around you. You're someone who initiates projects, and you're a goal-getter. You're full of energy. It's like you have a natural energy generator. When people get exhausted, you're someone who can work like 80 hours a week, and you'll be okay. I also see, my pal 2, that you're a natural opportunist. So you see opportunities when people can't. And you're very good at identifying what is going to work. Because of that opportunistic mindset that you have, and because of your ability to identify what the potential in matters, it makes you a natural entrepreneur. So this, in combination with your natural passion and the initiative energy you have, you're a self-starter. You're a self-starter, and you compel people to want to get on board with you. It's almost like you imbue strength in them, and your own strength, your own source of strength is so potent that it spills over to the people around you. So I feel like you are someone whom people come to when they need faith. They need faith to believe in themselves, to believe in what they're working towards and you are that inspiration. You imbue them with the strength that they can see for themselves. You reflect it back to them. Okay. Paul 2, I also see that you're a very helpful person. You're someone whom people reach out to when it feels like they've hit rock bottom. Okay, you're someone who is a little bit like this guardian angel here, coming to save the drowning. You have this ability to resurrect what is seemingly hopeless, and this very hopeful energy within you, it spills forth in other aspects of your life. I I also see that you're someone who is a realist. Okay? As much as you see an opportunity and you go for it, you look for the glimmer of hope, you're also incredibly realistic. And this combination of understanding very objectively what is not working out, in the situation enables you to find that light at the end of the tunnel. I also see, my pal, too, that you understand the big picture of things. And it's not just about understanding the big picture of things, but you recognize what needs to change. You could be an environmentalist, or you have a cause that you feel very strongly about. And I feel like this cause has to do with the state of humanity at this point. You may not be fully aware of this, but you are someone who's very connected to the evolution of the bigger picture of how we are evolving society. It's almost like you are at the frontier of changes, and you recognize what is not working, and you make it your mission to find a better solution. You're an agent of change, my pal, too. You're an agent of change, and this is being reflected in your work. Okay, let's get to your strengths and attributes at work and in your professional life. I see that you're a team player. You're someone who really believes in a collective effort of working together. And you're a natural leader in such teams. It's like you see that everyone brings in value to what the group is trying to achieve, and you kind of place them in roles where they will excel. You're someone, my pal, too, who does well in a community of like-minded people, and people are very willing to work for you, which makes you a natural leader. Obviously, you're definitely a natural entrepreneur. You have this natural self-confidence, this level of self-assurance that comes very easily to you. And you have this ambition, but it's like this ambition is driven towards a very worthy cause. Because you recognize, let's go back to your, realistic view, because you recognize what needs changing, what needs fixing in whatever system or modality that you pour your energy into. You see what is not working, and you're someone who takes charge and be like, we have to fix this, we have to make this right. And this level of assurance and just single-mindedness is really one of your hallmarks. You've great leadership potential, my pal, too. If you don't currently view yourself as a leader, or you feel like you're in that role, I see that there is more to come for you, because it is very clear that Pal2 is a natural leader here. You have this ability to multitask. Because you're at the forefront of changes, you're naturally adapted to juggling several different tasks at the same time. So one of your strengths at work is this multitasking ability. I also see that you're someone who can see two sides of the picture. When we see two sides of the picture, we get a broader view that is more objective and less subjective. I see that you try to find a balance between both. You're also kind of like a moderator, right? So say they're opposing forces. They could be things like, say, if you're in an investment, it could be a risk versus reward. But you're someone who is able to balance that. Or say one of the opposing forces is losing your creative edge versus marketing to a wider audience. You're someone who can toe the line of both that polarity and still manage to achieve some level of perfection. This non-dual way of thinking also is linked to how you work with your teammates, your followers, your believers, because you can see two polarizing extremes in situations and in people. It allows you a sense of logical empathy. It's like you can see both sides of someone's good attributes and weaknesses, and you're able to harness that. And in so harnessing people's pros and cons, and even the pros and cons of situations you find yourself in, you come out on top. So we have the Four of Wands here, and this is the card of success, okay? But this is also a card of completion. You're someone who finishes what you start. And you're someone who celebrates your success with people whom you've worked with. So you're very just. You're very fair. For people that have contributed to your success, you bring them along and you celebrate your success with them. You're someone who fights to the end, and you oftentimes get what you want. This is definitely one of the hallmarks of a very strong leader. My pile 2. I also see that I mentioned earlier that you're always helping people out. I see here again with you doing the same thing at work, where there are these ideals and these goals, and there are all these steps to get there. You're someone you're a good strategist, okay? You see how the dots connect, and you achieve what you want. You're a very good strategist, and you're also a very good diplomat. You might find yourself in situations where people have different opinions, but because of your inherent leadership qualities and this ability to see the salvation despite how terrible a situation might be, you strategize on how to get there. It's like you can lay out step 1, step 2, step 3, and get people to where they need to get to. So people look up to you for this, and there is you're very intelligent with strategy. And that's what I'm getting. So it calls for a very good diplomat and also overall an entrepreneur. I see that you're someone who's like a pillar to those around you. There's a lot of strength. We have the strength card here, and this strength within you, this ability to withstand all kinds of challenges, it's what really inspires believers. You go beyond what is perceived as a limitation, and you push that boundary. My pal 2, if you have yet to find your footing in life, you need to really recognize that you're a true leader at heart. You're made to lead. And you're made to be an agent of positive change in this world. You have this uncanny, almost uncanny ability to find opportunities. And this is really the makings of a good business person. You're very talented, my pal 2. I also see that you're someone who's very charismatic. And it's like you voice your opinion and people believe you and people listen. So this brings about a level of higher authority. I see that people look up to you, my pal 2, and people are willing to go the extra mile for you when they believe in the cause that you are fighting for. My pal 2, you are meant to play a very important role. Whether you are leading an organization, whether you're leading a team, or you have a cause or a passion that you're just adamant and dead set on, you're going to succeed. Now, there are some people who attract abundance, but I see that you attract people to help you succeed in life. So you have to remain very open to those who come under your wings. I see that you're very helpful, and that's great. It is also useful to be a little discerning of who you bring into your circle so that your vision can be crystallized. Okay, my pal 2, I think that's all I have for you today. My natural leaders, I wish you find your calling in life. If you have already found it, I wish you all the best. If you enjoyed this reading, please give it a like and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. Hi, my pal 3, welcome to your reading. So pal 3, this is very lovely. I feel like the word that really sums you up is compassionate, grateful, and happy. You're someone who has a lot of empathy. I see that you are a natural healer. I don't know if you're aware of this, but you exude a lot healing energy. It may come through your words or your actions. I also see that you're very patient. You're very patient with people, and you're someone whom people come to when they want to vibe off your happiness. You're also someone who is very grateful, and you celebrate life. You're also a very generous person. I see that you can be very sociable. You probably have a fair bit of friends. People like being around you. And the generosity of your spirit when it comes to giving, whether it's your own emotional energy, your wisdom, your guidance, or even, material objects that you're generous with, I see that people really appreciate it. You probably have quite a fair bit of friends, and you're just naturally very likable. you're someone who is naturally very happy, and you're like this bundle of joy where you'll step into a room, and even if it was a little like down to begin with, like you're someone whom you'll walk in and it's like sunshine and the cloud dissipates. So you have that good vibe. um I also see that you have like a childlike innocence. You're someone who isn't afraid to be enthusiastic, to be curious. It's like your inner child is given complete freedom to roam and to have fun. It's really beautiful that you're able to embrace this childlike level of innocence. Um, I don't see this being like a naive kind of innocence. I see it as a very grounded innocence. It's almost like wisdom with innocence. I know it may sound a little like an oxymoron, but my palpably, because of your natural empathy, you have a level of wisdom about life. And this, in conjunction with your childlike nature, it's almost like you constantly have beginner's mind. Okay, for those who are familiar with Zen sayings, you may know what I'm speaking about. But this concept of beginner's mind is the idea that we approach things in life, be it a new endeavor, a new relationship, a new situation, a new lifestyle. This approach is an approach of newness, right? So if you think about the card, like the full card in the tarot deck, you have that trust, right? It takes a level of trust to be able to maintain a childlike curiosity yet grounded in wisdom. And you're someone like that. So this ability to have this so-called beginner's mind is greatly beneficial to your approach in life, to your approach in work, and to the people you meet. Because of this level of open-mindedness, you attract good people in your life, and they will come to your help when you need them to. Now, as for your work situation, I see that you are someone who is very non-judgmental. All right. So it's like you are able to be compassionately objective. So when someone comes to you and with a problem, you're able to hold space for them. I don't know what the nature of your career is, my pal 3, but you have this ability to be a therapist, a counselor, and so you have this ability to draw people into your confidence, right? And it's because of your empathy. I won't use the word empathy because empathy is when you can feel someone. I would say it's compassion because compassion is where you could hold space. And that's what you are, my pal 3. You hold space. You're non-judgmental. You see someone's shadow, but you also see their positive attributes. And it is this level of compassionate understanding that is really your talent here. I also see, my pal 3, that you're very good with words, or you're pretty. I don't know if you're a writer or you're some kind of content producer, or I see writing, I see communication, but there's a natural ebb and flow to how you communicate. And I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but you're like a natural channeler. Obviously, it is your own authentic thought, when you're delivering a message or writing an article, but there is a level of divine channeling. It's like you're kind of a receptor. Your radio frequency is easily tuned into source. And so if you find yourself getting inspired easily, know that you are in the flow of things. I see that you are good with words. If for some reason you are still not expressing those words, whether it be in written form or in media or some kind of material production, you're basically underutilizing one of your gifts if you're not producing content or writing at the moment, my pal 3, because I see that you are very witty. You can be witty, it's like you have this sense of humor, and it's like everything's being so serious. You have compassionate, you're healing, but at the same time, you have this knack for wit and humor, and it serves you well because you brighten up things, right? So maybe say you're dealing with a topic that can be a little heavy, but you have this sense of humor, and it lightens people up. So that is one of your really good attributes. You can make things bubbly. Even if they sink like a rock to the ocean, to the bottom of the ocean, you have this ability to make it all bubbly, right? So that's really beautiful because it shows that you have a real appreciation of life and that you recognize that happiness is a choice. I feel that you are someone who imbues faith to people. Like your friends or your coworkers, your close ones may come to you when they're feeling really hopeless about a certain situation. And like I said earlier, you are a natural counselor, right? So you have this ability to motivate people, and to really hone in on what they desire. Sometimes, well, most often, we get confused with what what society obligates us to wish and want versus what our heart truly desires. And you're someone who have that laser vision to hone in on that. I don't see that you can really. I don't see that you're able to use this ability onto yourself, but it's almost like it's easier for you to identify what people's hopes and wishes are. And it's a very keen and acute sense of intuition, which this card alludes to as well. You see, you're someone who is naturally very intuitive. I'm not going to use the word psychic because that word resonates with different people on different levels, but I would say you're someone with a sixth sense. You have this natural intuition, and you have premonitions of how things could be. It's almost like there is another layer of reality that you're very much in touch with. Okay. So for my pile 3, you are the healing, you are the healers, all right? And your benevolence and your compassionate nature is really is really quite rare. So I wish you all the best. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I hope that it clarified certain ideas of your strengths and your positive attributes. I hope you enjoy. If you do, please give this video a like and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in, my Pal 3. Hi, Pal 4. Welcome to a reading. So, Pal 4, it came to my mind immediately that you're a fighter. There's a lot of Wands energy in this spread. And I will go deeper. Another word that came to my mind is the word warrior. And I don't mean like that you're in the military and that you're fighting in a war, but you have this fearsome and courageous energy. And it's very natural in you. You definitely exude a lot of courage. You're someone who is able to stand up for what you think is right. I also see you being a protector, a benevolent protector. It's like you're the kid at the schoolyard who sees another kid being bullied and you're going to rush into his or her defense. That is the energy that comes across. You're also someone who is very accepting of all the different people, be it ethnicity or religion or background. I feel like you have a lot of friends from a varied background because you're so accepting. You don't discriminate. If anything, your ideal is equality, you know? I also see that you're someone, my Pal 4, who is capable of shouldering an enormous amount of responsibility. And this might be very worldly responsibility, say taking care of your family or your workplace. But I think it extends beyond that. It's like you have a very strong view and ideal of what the world and society at large should look like. And this is an attribute of your perfectionistic, idealistic vision, which is great because you see how humanity and the world at large can be a better place. And this world card you have here, which is really at the center of your reading, I am reminded of the novel Atlas Shrugged. For those who have read it, it's by Ayn Rand. It can be controversial in itself. It's often understood as being pro-capitalism. I see the opposite though. I see that you're someone who you strive for equality. You're someone who really believes that everyone deserves a fair share. And you have taken on a lot of that responsibility on yourself. And whether you are currently devoting yourself as your job, as your vocation to a cause, that is still unclear. But I see that you have a certain soul alignment towards correcting what is wrong, what is not working, and building a better world. You're capable of shouldering a lot of responsibilities, and we're talking about big responsibilities here. You're the kind of person that would appear on a poster of a rebellion. You're a rebellion leader. To rebel for a better world. That's what I see you. And you're also someone, my Pal 4, who is able to deal with the murkiness and the darkness in this world and be unfazed about it. I don't know if you're working in some kind of profession. Your job might entail working with the darker side of humanity. You may be in law enforcement or healthcare. There's a level of darkness that you can handle without losing your internal compass. Okay, we need people like this in this world. We can't avoid the darkness that exists in man's heart. And as much as we would like to be all love and light, there we always need people who can handle that darkness. And you're one such person. You can see the beauty in what is hidden. You're very good at investigating. Depending on your nature of your job, you're probably a very good researcher. It's like, there are always different categories of workers, but you're someone whom I see as the researcher and investigator. You can go through the murkiness of the data, of the subject in questions or legal documents, and you'll be able to scan it through and just illuminate what is essential. So if you're not working in one of those jobs where you're dealing with the underbelly of society, I see that you are an investigator. You're uncovering some kind of insights and illumination from what is previously hidden, and that is this uncanny ability to just hone in on the truth and illuminate. That is your ability. You have a very keen intuition to guide you towards the truth. You're a fact finder. My power 4, I also see that you are someone who is very much in your power. We have the Emperor card here, and I see that you are someone who is not easily swayed by external factors. We need this kind of people in our leadership. You're someone who is very firm. You have your way of thinking and you hold true to them. You are also a very good leader. You're very good at delegating. I see you being someone with some kind of authoritative powers, and you're very good at delegating. And that is one of the key attributes of a good leader. And my power 4, I also see that you're someone who likes to get things started. Okay, you're an initiator as well. You have this, you're a little impulsive, but it's misunderstood. It's like you get fired up and you go for things. You start something, and this is what is needed, because very often people fail to, heed the call of action, right? And you're someone who listens to that call, that siren that blares up, and you're like, okay, let's get to work. What should we do? You're very gung ho. You're very enthusiastic, and it's like you're almost driven instinctually. Some people have to think about it before they make a move, but it's almost primal. It's like you act out of instinct, and that's good. That's good. That's actually a really good thing in your case. So, my power 4, you have a mission in life. You might be involved in political environment or some kind of activist role. If you're not currently playing that role, you might want to contemplate looking into that, because I see that you're someone who is here to set things straight. Okay, and that's a very simplistic way of putting it. Another way to think about it is like there is ugliness in this world, and um, there is a lot of disarray. So you're 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 courageous, and you have this warrior heart. And because you are so accepting of the differences in humanity, the diverse range of it, whether it's religion, it's ethnicity, or lifestyle, because you are so accepting of this diverse set of human experience, you are a fighter for a better quality of life. You're a fighter for equality. I see you as someone being part of a bigger movement, a bigger movement to bring about a better way of life for the masses. For the masses, it's a lot of responsibility, my pal. But you are born for it. You have a lot of wands, and you have a lot of major arcana. Actually, you have 3 major arcana and 3 wands. My pal 4, I think you have a mission. You see this card here where this blindfolded guy is someone walking into a doorway, and he's being guided by 2 massive figures. I see that you are being guided, my pal 4. The road might be unclear, the journey long and filled with uncertainty, but you are being guided on some level. There will be benevolent benefactors, people who come your way in your life to help you achieve things, achieve something. It may not be obvious to you, but there is almost like an invisible hand, and they're helping you because you have something to accomplish. There is a certain level of grime and dirtiness that needs to be cleansed, and it takes a level of courage, authority, and someone who's willing to stand up for the weak to be able to accomplish this task, and definitely someone who is capable of shouldering the responsibility of the masses, right? So my pal 4, let your imagination run wild, because you are capable of achieving a great deal, my pal 4. I see that you're someone whom humanity needs. I know it's going to sound really impossible to hear this, because it's almost like it's made out of a movie when you think about it. The thing is, we all contribute to the greater picture. Whether we are aware of it or we're not, it's really up to us at the end of it. So I'm hoping that this reading illuminates your strength, because this world needs changing. We're going through a lot of transition at this moment, and you have a calling to make things right. So dream big, my pal 4. Dream very big. Okay, my pal 4, that is all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading, and if you do, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. Hi, my Pal 5. Welcome to your reading. So, my Pal 5, you are the cool cat pal. You're very calm and you're very collected. You're very grounded. That's what I'm sensing. You do spend a fair bit of time introspecting. You contemplate a fair bit. And you have achieved a certain level of detachment. And I don't mean that in a negative way, I mean it in a very positive way. So it's almost like you have achieved a Zen-like level of detachment from the material world. And you're not faced by emotions or worldly matters. You're someone who is so calm and collected that there could be chaos circulating around you and you're as cool as a cucumber. You're someone who doesn't get anxious easily. You're very collected, very calm, and even in times of extreme hardship, you get through it. You also have this ability to persevere and push through. It's one thing to be not to have this level of non-attachment, but you are not nonchalant. Okay? You have this very intricate balance, which is hard to achieve, but you've done it, where you put to work what matters. Okay? So you fight and you persevere. But at the same time, there is a level of emotional detachment, which is fantastic because you don't let your ego get in the way. You get the job done. You're someone who completes your task. Despite how hard, despite the challenges, you push through, you persevere, you get it done. And all this time with a cool head and very calm and collectively. I see that you are also someone who is a bit of a risk taker, but I don't see greed. I see that you're someone who likes to take their chances. And this is really good if you're running your own business. So we're flowing naturally to your strengths here with respect to your career or your job. I see that you're someone who has experienced the highs and lows of life. Be it victory or be it defeat, you're kind of the same. It's almost like you expected it. You know and understand the cycles of life. Whether you are at the peak of your success or at the bottom of your defeat, you're aware that each cycle is going to the end. You are so in tune, my Pal 5, you are so in tune with the cyclical nature of things that you're in the Tao. You know, you're naturally just in the Tao and just flowing. So I see that you're someone who achieves success easily. At the same time, when you lose, you're not a sore loser. You're like, all right, let's pick it up and move on. That's you. You're always looking forward. You're very forward driven. You leave the past behind, you move on. It's almost robotic, but it's very human too. And because we have the Sun card here, so you have a level of emotional maturity that enables you to do so. You have a lot of fortitude, I see. And you're not someone who is faced by uncertainty or the level of risk. You're someone who just goes for it. And that is really good. But I also see that you're someone who does a fair bit of planning before you go for it. You strategize. And that is really one of your key attributes. We have the Two of Wands here. You're someone who looks at the terrain of the land, assesses and analyzes, and then you figure out what's the best way to get around it. That is you. You're a natural strategist. And you have a lot of forward momentum. Because you've seen a fair bit. You've seen a fair bit of challenges in your life. You're someone whom has gone through the ups and downs. You can win big and you can lose big. And you can walk away from either winning or losing and still be the same person. You just keep moving on. And then for you, my pile 5, we have the very powerful Sun card in your pile here. Obviously, we have confidence next to it, and it's obvious from what we have spoken so far. But more than that, I see this Sun card. I see that you are naturally very blessed. You're naturally very fortunate. On one hand, you're very calm, you're very collected, you're like a little like a Zen master kind of level of detachment, able to wear the world like a loose piece of clothing and still participate in life, detached but participating. At the same time, you exude a level of radiance and you naturally attract good things in your life. And you are also radiating that goodness to the people around you. Here, my pile 5, we also have the card of communication. I feel like because you have gone through so much in life, people do come to you for guidance, and you're able to communicate that your experiences and translate it to your situation. And I feel like people trust you because you understand. You understand the deeper meaning of the challenges and the ups and downs of life because you've been through so much. And not only have you survived the highs and lows of life, you emerged the victor here. I mean, here you are, a Zen master, being in a Tao of life, still able to move forward, taking each step with grace, and you have the beautiful Sun card. Fortunate things come to you. You are very blessed, my pile 5. And I see that your life, despite all the ordeals that you have gone through or that you may experience, you are constantly loving life. Einstein had the saying where the most important question one should ask themselves is this a friendly universe or is it an evil universe, right? Is it benevolent or malevolent universe? And I feel that you're someone who deeply understands that the world is working in your favor. And your approach to life is grounded, very grounded, but also a level of detachment. It's almost like you see through the illusion that is the samsara in this world, and it's a very Zen-like kind of understanding you have achieved. Life is good for you, my pile 5. Whatever challenges you've been through, you have and you will continue to emerge the victor. And sometimes if you find yourself a little overwhelmed, remember that you are very blessed. Okay, my pile 5, That is all I have for you. I am very happy to be ending my reading today with your pal because it's very meditative, zen, and it flows with it thou. My pal 5, I wish you all the best, and I hope this reading brought some clarity to you. If you do enjoy this reading, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.